Hello, hello. God bless you. Here we are again. We're going to continue. We have been talking. Let me see if I can bring this a little bit closer because I don't know why I feel that I'm so far away from you. Maybe there. Yeah. Some people do this beforehand. I'm a little bit blind. I do it last minute. But here we are. Okay, let's talk. Let's talk. We have been talking about the offenses being the bait of Satan, which is what we have been discussing. This is Perla Negroni, and the ladies at the worship center. Um, we do this. We try to get together, study the word, discuss, share thoughts, and we have not been able to do this on Tuesdays as we are used to. Uh, but we're doing it this way, and I hope this could minister to you and to others. And if you know anybody that this could benefit from this word, I encourage you to pass it to somebody else. The thing, like I said, is offenses are the bait of Satan to keep us what? Keep us going against one another, keep us in quarrels, and this is not what the Lord wants. And so we have been talking about Joseph and how is it that he have all the reasons, all the good reasons to be offended because what their brothers did to him was a real, genuine offense, no doubt about it. And we have been discussing how is it that not only what he went through with his brothers, but what he went through with the Pharaoh's captain's wife, Potiphar. Well, his wife got it with Joseph. She was in love with him, or she just has an infatuation. Whatever the case, she was after Joseph, and she insisted over and over to go after him. And he kept refusing her until one day that she actually threw herself at him and accused him that he tried to rape her instead, and he ended up in jail. And at that moment, now Joseph not only have a reason to be resented against his brothers, now he have a reason to be resented against God himself. And so, but we found Joseph over and over saying, how could I offend my God? How could I do this against my God? One thing was clear, that regardless of everything that was going through in Joseph's life, and even if at one point or another he have a doubt or have a moment in that he kind of question God's faithfulness, which the scripture is not really giving us information on that, but let's just pretend for the sake of, hey, let's put him as simple as you and me in his relationship with the Lord, or any other person. um let's pretend that he did doubt it, that he did at one moment was resentful, saying, hey God, why are you allowing this, why me? The point is that he got out of that and over that real quick, because you find him over and over, kind of not lingering with that kind of mentality. So God always have a plan. I guess somehow Joseph knew that God had a plan. And so he found two people when he was in jail after 10 years that he served the Potiphar, the Pharaoh's captain, and end up in jail. And now he's in jail, and he knew whoever went to jail is to die. I mean, there's no way that in 10 years and now, and he knew, especially that he was a slave that was being sold to Egypt. So he was not even from the place. But he met two guys there, and they have dreams, and he interpreted their dreams. And for one of them, the dream was not looking good. For the other one, yes, it did look good. So he said, when this dream comes true, because it will, remember me. And the guy went about, and he kind of forgot. Because time passed about 2 years, and nothing, absolutely nothing. Another reason for Joseph to say, I don't even know why I insist on doing what is right and what is good, because I do good by people and they forget. They don't do good by me. And maybe that will be you, that you find yourself asking the same question. I do good by people and they don't do good by me. Do not lose hope. The problem is that we want to see the good that we do to people been done back to us one way or another in a particular time frame. And sometimes that's not how it's going to be. I have been surprised to see that after 20 years that I served someone in one particular way, then that person reach out to me again, not requesting anything from me, but to thank me and to tell her children or grandchildren and other people, hey, she did good by me 20 years ago. And that meant so much in my life, and that was such a blessing for me and my children. And you know, and who will imagine that 20 years later this person will reach out just to say thank you? And me or you probably thinking they forgot. It was not even worth it what I did. It's always worth it. So time has passed and nothing. Well, so happened that the Pharaoh had a very alarming dream. He had a dream that it was really getting him like, what is happening here? Am I losing my marbles here? What's going on? But he was not at ease after this dream, and he tried to have his magicians and his wise men and people that he had to help him in situations like this to interpret the dream, and none of them could do it. None of them have an explanation for the dream that he had. And so at this point, Pharaoh is like, I don't know what to do. And so that's when the guy that now is Pharaoh's servant in a second time, because he was his servant before as well, remember, oh, wait a minute, guess what? I have this guy, I know this guy that when I was in jail, he interpreted my dream and my dream came true. I mean, his interpretation was accurate. And so Pharaoh said, really? So bring that guy. Let me see him. So after he bring Joseph and told him the dream, then Joseph give the interpretation and let him know, hey, a famine is coming. You're gonna, a famine is coming to the land, and you're gonna need to prepare for it. And he gave the Pharaoh some wise instructions in how to prepare for the crisis that the the land of Egypt was going to be facing soon. And so Pharaoh look at Joseph and listen to his interpretation, and I can only see that the grace of God was upon Joseph in such a way that when Pharaoh listened to him, he felt that he could trust this guy that was in jail, accused of attempting to rape the wife of his boss, which happened to be his captain. So go figure. If it was not God's grace upon Joseph to make Pharaoh trust him, I don't know what it was. Because I can only imagine Pharaoh saying, wait a minute. I don't care if he interprets your dream. I don't care if he can give me his interpretation that might or might not be true. This guy is a rapist. This guy didn't respect, is a slave that didn't even respect his master's wife. And I'm going to even listen to him and what he have to say. No, forget it. Bring somebody else. But that's not what happened, because God was fulfilling his promises with Joseph. So it doesn't matter what your background is. It doesn't matter what is it that you're encountering. It doesn't matter if you have to do a bankruptcy. It doesn't matter when you go and get that loan, when you go and apply for that, job, when you go and want to buy that house. That is the moment that the Lord is going to say, wait a minute. You need grace, because no matter how the past look, I'm going to make sure that you find grace to get that you're looking for, even that your background is not favorable. So we have to learn to trust the Lord. It does not matter what we have been encountering. This is not taking away from God's plan for your life or my life. And so Joseph was not being tainted by this terrible background. The Pharaoh didn't even consider it. at all. He just went ahead and not only listened to Joseph, but he wait a minute, in order to promote someone, you need to hire them first. So he actually, in one moment, hired and promote Joseph to be the second in command over all Egypt. Hello. This is for the people that apply to jobs and they say, but I'm not qualified. But I'm not, and I cannot go with those requirements. I mean, it looks like they wanted to hire Jesus Christ. It looks like they're trying to hire the angels. Well, when God is in the midst of things, you will be qualified in the eyes of the person because God is going to put the grace that is necessary. We need to, and I'm not talking about don't prepare yourself, don't go to school. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that when God is in the midst of something, background and lack of qualification does not matter. And that is the part that the people that do not serve God cannot understand because it sounds crazy. No, if you don't qualify, you don't qualify. Yeah, for you that don't have a backup. But I have the King of Kings and Lord of Lords backing me up. So even if my resume doesn't speak loud, he does. So we need to learn to trust that when the Lord is in the midst of something, it's going to happen. And it's going to happen to bless us and to bless somebody else, like in this case, not only Pharaoh, his house, but the whole land of Egypt. So the Pharaoh decided that now he's going to put Joseph with all the wisdom that God have given him to prepare everything for the famine that was coming. And later, this famine was going to extend to all nations. And now we're going to see that Joseph's brothers are going to need to come back to Egypt for aid. Because now, guess what? They are lacking food. And now Egypt is prepared because of Joseph. The brother that they thought they were doing wrong to, God was orchestrating things so that brother could save not only the land of Egypt, but themselves. If it wasn't because Joseph was in Egypt and took in that position and prepared the plan, I don't know where everything would have been. The famine probably would have had devastated Egypt and all the other countries. But God orchestrated things because that's how he is. What the enemy is trying to do for bad for you and me, God is turning the whole thing for good. Let the enemy celebrate and believe that he is winning. Let the enemy celebrate and have a party thinking, I got these people. He's celebrating because he's like, I got them. But the Lord is already orchestrating something different. And so not only Joseph created provision for Egypt, but he also created provision for his brothers. Now, if Joseph wouldn't have gone through everything he went through and his heart would be tainted and damaged with hatred and offense from what the brothers did to him were, well, totally legit reason to be offended, he wouldn't be ready to serve his brothers. He wouldn't be able to even carry out what Pharaoh was asking from him. But because his heart was purified by everything he was going through, that is how he was getting ready to serve in the new position. God cannot promote you or me to the next level, to another position, if we don't complete this level, so our mind and heart be prepared for what is coming and do it right in representation of the kingdom. You're going to find a lot of people promoting themselves, putting titles, Doctor this, Apostle that, and I'm not against none of that. Don't think that I'm saying I'm against titles. I'm talking about the people that put titles like they appointed themselves this and that when they never passed their test, when they never were able to face the tribulation or graduate to the position that they want to have bestow upon them. And God knows why he do things, but when we are the ones bestowing names and positions to ourselves, we cannot carry out the burden and responsibilities in representing the kingdom and the Lord correctly. We can. We're gonna bring shame to the kingdom if anything. And so he was ready. He was ready. He was going through a lot, and this was preparing him that he didn't have to feel to kill them. He didn't have to feel that he needed to put blame on nobody anymore. Um, and to Pharaoh, his brothers were not of concern. Joseph ended up even giving grain for no charge. They received the best land of Egypt for their families, and they ate the fat of the land. And if you go and read the story, you're going to see how he did everything, and it was a whole process because there was like that last little thing there that he wanted to he needed to hear. Did they repented? Did they ever regret what they did they love me enough to at least later said, oh my gosh, what we have done? Do they recognize that what they did was wrong? That was in his mind, and when you see how everything went with his brothers, you can see that he needed an answer for that. And the moment he got it, that's all he wanted. He wanted an answer, and he received it, and happened to be exactly what he needed to hear to complete his healing. And well, the sum of everything is that the best of all the land of Egypt was given to his brothers. So he took good care of them instead of say, well, after what you did to me, look where I am. And you know what I'm going to do to you now? I'm not going to give you nothing. You bring me my father, you give me my brother Benjamin, and the rest of you can go see how you survive. No, he could use his position and authority to hurt his siblings and make them pay back, but he didn't. He didn't even went into let's have a talk. Let's see if you remember everything that you did to me. No, 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 no. If everything he said what the enemy planned for bad for me, God turned it into good. He knew where this was coming from. So he ended up blessing the ones that curse him and doing good to the ones that hate him, just like Jesus said we need to do in Matthew 5:44. So God knew that his brothers at one point will be before him. And just like in the dream, they will just going down on, bowing. They bowed before Joseph, not even knowing that he was their brother. As a matter of fact, the Lord knew this even before he gave Joseph the dream, even before those boys were born, because he knew that Joseph was going to be prepared to do all this good. And it's normal that when you and I are prepared and called and appointed to do good, there are going to be haters. Let them be. You and me, love them. Love them, because this is also the problem. If you're going to be haters, and then you're going to have an attitude against the haters, you might be in a lower category or of that hater, but you are a hater too, and I am a hater too, if that's how we're going to refer to them. Now, if anything said, let the haters be haters. They don't know any better. Just like the Lord Jesus said to the Father, forgive them for that. No, they don't know what they're doing. And if you and I can have that attitude where we are certain, who are our haters, but we don't care and we don't want nothing wrong going to them, then we are prepared to receive what is coming next. Otherwise, we're not. And so we are going to find that Joseph have like the right response, like the right words for his brothers. When they were reunited, he is like, but now do not therefore be grieved or angry with yourselves because you sold me here. For God sent me before you to preserve life. For these 2 years, the famine has been in the land, and there are still 5 years in which there will be neither plowing nor harvesting. And God sent me before you to preserve a posterity for you in the earth and to save your lives by a great deliverance. So now it was not you who sent me here, but God. And you find this in Genesis 45, 5 to 8. And these words are like, wow. He did not give any glory to the enemy. He did not give any power. He did not give any power to his brothers and the enemy. He was like, you know what? It wasn't even you guys. You thought you did this? I got news for you. You didn't do this. You don't need to feel bad. You don't need to. What is done is done. God is the one that sent me because he knew that someone needed to come and get things ready for you and for the family. And he sent me to do that. And so we're going to find in the Psalms 105, 16 and 17. Psalms 105, verse 16 and 17. These words. Moreover, he, God, called for famine in the land. He destroyed all the provision of bread. He sent a man before them, Joseph, who was sold as slave. In the Psalms, is referring to the story just as accurately as Joseph said it is. Who sent Joseph? His brothers or God? Out of the mouth of two witnesses, we see that it was God who sent Joseph. And so, if you realize this, then you will understand that when Joseph said to his brother, it was not you who sent me, it was really the Spirit of God speaking, because it's true. They didn't send him. God himself was preparing the provision. So when we are going to understand that no mortal man and no devil can supersede the plan of God for your life and my life. Yes, that we can delay it by sinning and doing the wrong things. We, you and me, can delay God's plan, can even deviate from God's plan. Yes, that is possible. Okay? Why? Because it's the plan for our lives. And sometimes we make the mistake of using our free will the wrong way and we delay the plan or we even deviate from it. But nobody has the authority and the power to actually, other than ourselves, no devil, no nobody, to actually interfere with what the Lord have already planned. So even when the brothers thought that they were actually destroying Joseph, they were lining up with God's plan, not only for Joseph's life, but for his brothers, his family, and the land of Egypt. The whole land of Egypt. It was even deeper than just them and their family. So when you understand this, then it's gonna be a truth that is gonna make you free and it's gonna make me free when I understand it. There's only one person who can actually get you or me out of God's plan, and that's us, you and me, nobody else. The children of God sent Moses to be the deliverer and to lead them out of Egypt and out of bondage into the promised land. And after a year, 1 year in the desert, the leaders were sent to spy out and they returned complaining. And so they were afraid of the nations in the land. They were larger. They have a stronger army. All the people, with the exception of Joshua and Caleb, agree that with these leaders, and they all agree that, this is terrible. The people was feeling as if God brought them there to die. Like God didn't have a plan, and now he found this terrible land, and oops, now what I'm gonna do? What do you think, Jesus? Well, no idea, Father. What do you think, Holy Spirit? Don't ask me. So this is not how it works. But this pattern keep happening year after year with you, with me, and with everybody. Offenses are the result of generation after generation that are blind to see the promised land. And this is why we are possessing the land every day, and every day we don't reach it. And we need to start changing our mentality so we can possess the land. We can take possession of the land that the Lord and the promises that the Lord have given us. Many people serve God fervently for many years, but when difficulties come and when they're mistreated, and especially by carnal Christians or wicked men or whatever, oh, they get so offended, especially if they were really, really, truly mistreated or treated unjustly, and now they're offended, and next thing you know, that's it. There's no purpose taking place because now this offense is stopping us. And no matter how much you want to flow, I don't care if you're a minister, I don't care what title do you carry, I don't care who you are, and I don't mean this with disrespect. Please hear me out. What I want to convey is that regardless of who or I am, regardless of who you are or who I am, there is nobody that can fool the Lord. And we can carry whatever title and we can say whatever we can say, but sometimes the pulpit, the altars, the churches are full of people that are ministering out of their burdens and their offenses and their grievances, and that's what you're giving to people. Your mouth might be speaking peace and love and victory, but your spirit is speaking offense, betrayal, hurt. And it's time that we stop that. We need to stop playing, biting on the bait of Satan, that is the offense, and playing the game. Because instead of blessing people, we are hurting people more than we're blessing them. And we don't realize it because it's in the spirit. That sometimes even take our mouth too, but that's a different story. I don't want to go there. Now, if we work hard to stay free from offense, then it's going to be easier to walk in God's will. When we become offended, we are being captive of those offenses. The purpose of and will of the Lord cannot be fulfilled in our life to totally, and instead our will and our own purpose will be fulfilled. And it might look good and sound good, but it's not glorifying God. And so we need to take our pick. What is going to be more beneficial, to be free of offense or to stay in it? We have to remember that nothing that comes against us can prosper, but we need to fill ourselves with the knowledge of the Lord and to know that we need to be prepared before things happen. When the offense comes, we need to already be filled with the Word of God, so we will not allow offense to create hatred and bitterness in us. If the devil can destroy our will, he will wipe us out, and they will be no way to recuperate from that one. The devil wants to take your passion and my passion to serve the Lord, the agape, that love that comes from the will, the decision to serve, that comes from you and me. And one of the ways to take it is through offenses, okay? And so again, some of them that are legit and some of them that are all in our minds, all right? So please keep this with you. No temptation has overtaken you except such as in common to the one that is common to man. But God is faithful, who will not allow you or me to be tempted beyond what you are able. But with the temptation will also make the way of escape, that you may be able to bear it. And this is 1 Corinthians 10:13. So notice this is saying that the way of escape, not a way of escape. He's not going to give you a way of escape. He's going to give you the way to escape any temptation. He's not going to give you a possibility. He's going to give you the only possibility for you to escape every single temptation and for me to escape any temptation to be offended or any other temptation for that matter. God always provide, but we need to be connected. Like I have said in other sermons and teachings before, you don't wait until the moment comes to then prepare. You need to be preparing. I need to be preparing so when the moment comes, we don't cry. We if we do any crying, it's gonna be a crying of joy because the Lord have given us the victory. Okay, no matter how great or small, all right, no matter how the circumstances might be, God always have a plan that is allow us to escape when the temptation or the difficulties come or the offenses come. And so what is really thrilling about all this is what might be looking that it will be aborting an abortion of God's plan can end up being the road to fulfill exactly what he wanted you and me to fulfill in obedience and free from offense. But we have to make a decision. Joseph have all the reasons, all the right reasons. And the day that you can put yourself in the shoes of Joseph and said, I have walked exactly that route, then you will understand. No, I know what Joseph felt because I'm being betrayed. No, 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 no. I'm talking about your brothers put you in a physical, not emotional, not a spiritual, physical pit, then get you out, then sell you as a slave to Egypt and a place that you will never be able to come out. I mean, we really need to walk in those shoes to understand, and I'm certain that if you are in the 2020 and you are alive, there is no way you know what I'm talking about unless you live in a country where situations like this are taking place. But I know that here you're not seeing that. Okay? And I'm talking about the normal. There are exceptions to the rule. But the norm is that we cannot attest to have an idea to what Joseph went through. However, if we just like Joseph can stay away from offense, free from offense, and stay in obedience regardless of the circumstances, then and only then we will be able to fulfill our purpose. So remember, we need to stay submitted to God, not become offended, resist the devil, and he will flee. James 4:7. We need to resist the devil by not becoming offended. The dream and the vision will probably happen differently for you and for me than what we expect, but or we see, but his word and his promises will never fail. Not to Joseph, not to you, not to me. And so we will only be able to risk aborting God's plan and purpose for our lives only if we disobey. And we're going to stop there and we're going to be finishing probably on our next time together. God bless you. Has been a blessing to have you over. And I really hope that you consider your life. That we can take time to think, God, the truth is I thought I have a reason to be offended, but I'm not even close to what Joseph went through with his brothers, and he did not allow offense to come and destroy his purpose and his calling. Allow me to have a mind that think a little bit more like Joseph did. In Jesus' name, God bless you.